I am black. Yes. And I didn't know I was black until I came to the United States of America. I know you're mostly wondering, what did I think I was before? I'll tell you the incident that made me realize that I was black. I was standing at the metro station in Washington, D.C., waiting to take a train. And a young African-American man came to me and he said, "Girl, you're black." It don't matter what you do, what you try to do, they won't accept you, you're black. And as he said that, I turned around because I thought he was talking to someone else and realized there was no one else behind me. And for those of you who are African American, you know that I am on the darker shade of black. And I know that too, so I was wondering, what is this man talking about? Anyway, I got onto the train and I went home. And I found my older brother, and I narrated the incident to him. And he started laughing at me. You see, my older brother is 6'5". It was a chilly night, and he had offered me his sweatshirt. So it was really baggy on me. And I had just come from Africa. And I had black jeans, which had been washed. So they were no longer black, they were gray in color. And I had this pair of sneakers, black, an A with a circle. So he told me, "You look like a little white boy from the suburbs. You don't look like a black girl." That was my first identity crisis. You see, up until then, I had been taught that the oldest fossil was found in Kenya, a place called Olduvai Gorge, and that Kenya was the cradle of mankind. Which means when I look at all of you here, no matter which country you come from, to me, you're all Kenyan. So Gloriana, that was my story. She challenged me to say a story before I get into my speech about identity. I am honored to speak here at this gathering. It is my hope that my remarks here will in a small way help rally my generation and those that come to a higher calling, a place where we all feel that we are home. My idea of belonging is where you are accountable for your country, and your country is accountable for you. In many countries, young people feel they don't owe anybody anything, and as Americans would say, that the country owes them nothing. Martin Luther King comes to mind with his I Have a Dream speech, which talks about unity and belonging. I want to pay a special tribute to the young people of this country. Their engagement and activism is what helped elect the first black president, not just here in America, but in the whole of the Western Hemisphere. And of course, for me, Kenyan. They showed that their voice mattered and that they were ready for accountability. And when we look at the other side of the world, we have the Arab Spring. Young people took to social media to voice their frustrations. They tested and shook the system. The result was that people were listening to them. They belonged. They were ready. They wanted to be listened to. And on the heels of that is what many Africans call the Black Spring, which is what happened in Burkina Faso. For me, this meeting is a constitution to the call President Barack Obama made to my country in Kenya, my generation 3 weeks ago. It's been a pursuit that I've been going for the last 7 years, and it is one that I'd like to help to bridge the community together. The power to share in decisions of government is a responsibility the youth cannot ignore. In my country, Youth form 75% of our population. They, however, remain in the periphery of the country's social, political, and economic affairs. Although there have been many attempts to help bring the youth agenda to the table through things like the Youth Fund, Kazi kwa Vijana, which is the youth work for youth, and the Women Fund, the youth remain excluded from designing, planning, and implementing policies that affect them. The youth form up to 60% of Kenya's labor force, but are battling unemployment, poor access to healthcare, have no access to business opportunities, and barely access financial services because they don't have identity cards. They simply do not belong. This sense of exclusion makes the youth soft targets for fundamentalist groups like the Boko Haram, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, and in our case, Al-Shabaab. For a country on the forefront on terror, the existence of highly secure and integrated national identification system is not a luxury, but a basic requirement. It is the most hidden and the most critical manifestation of interface between technology, governance, and nation building. Proper national identification is critical to ensuring border control, balloting systems, proper disaster response, including registration of people. It is for this reason that I have for some time pursued a program that on the surface to many people did not seem to have anything to do with youth empowerment, national development, or belonging. Yet looked at deeply, it does. I'm talking about investment in proper, inclusive national identification program. For many years of engagement in this, I recently came across a situation that added fuel and new sense of urgency to my drive to helping young people acquire national identity cards and birth certificates. I work in a slum area that's called Kibra. And in Kibra, I came across a young lady called Evelyn. Evelyn is 18 years old. Evelyn has 3 children. That means, of course, Evelyn had these children when she was under the age of 18, still a young child. Evelyn does not have an identity card. Evelyn does not have a birth certificate, and her 3 children also do not have these documents. Officially, Evelyn does not exist. She does not belong. Officially, her 3 children also do not exist. They too do not belong. When the government prepares annual budget for her citizens, Evelyn is officially not captured, neither are her 3 children. Evelyn's case, unfortunately, was not isolated. In my drive, I encountered a registration where over 2,000 young people in one ward alone did not have these documents. Their hopes were dashed because they felt that they did not belong. When we finally managed to get Evelyn and her 3 children their cards and birth certificates, which was not easy, and were able to convince her of participation and ensuring that her children belong and love their country. An identity card confirms that you matter to your country. It allows you to apply for a job or open a bank account. It allows you to acquire a business license. It allows you to apply for a study loan. It allows you to join a reputable university, get a formal marriage certificate, which, ladies and gentlemen, is very important if you want to build a home. In Kenya, like in many other countries, this is taking a lag. And I'll paraphrase a Pakistani official who said, "The national identity is a critical way to construct the family tree of all nationals. It helps establish a relationship between each other for extended family to redefine our obligations to one another, state to citizen and citizen to citizen." The national identity system works best when databases talk to each other. The US recognized this reality in the 2013 elections, and they put in $53 million to the Yes Youth Can, My ID, My Life campaign, where almost 500,000 Kenyans got their national identity cards. Due to the combination of political, financial reasons, we have fallen back as a country. Millions of young people lack this vital document, and it is the gap my organization is trying to fill in a small way. when I leave the UN and I go back to Kenya, we're going to launch a system where if you don't have an ID or a birth certificate, you can register yourselves through SMS for free. That's what young people want to hear. It is my hope that the international community and all organizations with interest in youth empowerment, governance, human rights, and global security partner with us. It is critical, and it is an aspect we cannot ignore. Finally, in my focus, I am forever guided by the words of great leaders who have walked this path. I believe in young people. We cannot stand by and mock future generations by our inaction. We have to fight to belong. IYLA has given us this opportunity. And I remember the words of Reverend Wilson Good, where he said, virtues of humanity, integrity, and compassion is what will help drive us. So to you, my fellow Kenyans, I want to ask you, when it comes to identity, where do you belong? Will you walk alone, or will you walk with us? Thank you.